Welcome back into Sports Extra. Let's bring WRAL's Pat Welter back into the show. Pat, of course, down in Atlanta for the Panthers season opener. Pat, we already kind of talked a little bit about just the growing pains this team is going to go through with a rookie QB. But I think something that impressed a lot of his teammates throughout this entire preseason was just how unflappable he was. You saw it today, unfazed in the adversity. So I just want to get your first impressions of just the way Bryce Young handled himself in his rookie debut.
Look, you can't say enough about the guy's character, right? On the bench, he's giving high fives, giving encouragement to the offensive line when they're down, waiting for everybody to go into the locker room at halftime. But as far as how he played, to me, Kacy, he looked like a rookie QB. And he was never going to be a guy that was going to wow you with his physical tools. So this is going to take a little bit of time. But the size is probably the biggest question mark coming in. I thought he withstood things well in the pocket, was able to complete passes down the field, especially over the middle. And he definitely took some hits as well. Where he lacked was deep shots down the field, and he just missed a couple to Terrace Marshall and Jonathan Mingo that really could have been the difference in the game. Instead, the difference in the game is the turnovers. And looking through my camera lens on the interceptions, I thought they were completed passes as well. He said the problem was he was relying on what the coverage dictated, but not actually where the players landed post-snap. And Jesse Bates, a veteran in this league, got the best of him twice. So I think more positive things ahead for Bryce Young and the Panthers, but the kind of winning the division type expectations a lot of people had coming in, we might need to pump the brakes on those a little bit, at least to start.
Well, of course, those expectations were also brought about because they brought in a new head coach in Frank Reich. He was making his debut here in the regular season as well. When you look at just the way this team was prepared, the way they came out, maybe some of the game planning, how would you grade Frank Reich's debut?
Well, Kacy, during the preseason, my biggest concerns weren't about Bryce Young. It was about Frank Reich and this entirely new coaching staff, right? Because when they came out in the preseason against the Jets, Young was getting hit left and right, and kind of a similar story against the Giants. Now, he did perform well against the Lions and looked much better here, and that's what you want to see, right? It's all about developing Bryce Young. That is Frank Reich's number one job, is to protect that number one quarterback that he took first overall and traded up assets to get, and I thought they did a good job of doing that. The run game was very balanced, over 150 yards rushing. We didn't even see Miles Sanders in the preseason, so that was really encouraging to me. I thought they made some manageable throws for Bryce Young in the offense, over the middle, rolling it out, and again, they weren't able to get those explosive plays, and that's something you're going to need to do if you're going to win games in the National Football League. So nobody was happy about the performance overall, not just about Bryce Young, but it's the team, because yeah, they know they've got a rookie quarterback, but this is a team that just missed the playoffs last year, so they want to get there if they can. But I was satisfied with the job that Frank Reich and the staff did today.
Well, coming into this season opener, there was a lot of speculation as to if Brian Burns was going to play in this one. He's the heart of this defense, but of course, yet to secure an extension. He missed 2 practices over the last week and a half before returning to the team on Wednesday, and he traveled with the team, and boy, he hit that field and obviously went out there with something to prove, a little chip on his shoulder. You could see the emotion out there, Pat, but you saw him in the locker room after the game. What was he like?
Yeah, he's wearing the 0 this year for the Panthers, but he really is their number one overall player, and they had to have him in this game. And that's what he told us in the locker room, that he kind of went internal, that he's been praying a lot. He's been reading a lot. He got some advice from Justin Houston in the locker room about how to handle a contract negotiation like this. And ultimately, he landed on he needed to play. He needed to be there for his teammates who voted him a captain for this team. And you saw the impact he made right from the beginning. And he was asked whether he had something to prove on that strip sack early, and he said, no, that was God giving me the opportunities. He just made the most of them. So a guy that says, he's going to work through this negotiation, but whether they get to a deal or not, he is going to play, and he's confident in his abilities because he believes God is going to protect him.
Pat, you know as well as I do, all these guys in the league sitting out, holding out through contract negotiations. I think this earns him a lot of respect in the league with fans and players alike. Now the team turns their attention to Monday Night Football, another division foe next Monday against the New Orleans Saints, and that's when we'll pick it up from you next. But for now, Pat Welter, thank you so much.